Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm your other host, Chanel.
And we are back to talk about Fallout Season 2, Episode 4. I think it was called Okie Dokie. Okie Dokie. Uh, but before we get into that, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. We got 2 5-star reviews last week. Chanel, do you want to read the reviews?
Yeah. So Brandon is already updating what type of podcast we are. We previously were a Fallout podcast, but you guys are ready for industry and so are we. It's so funny though to like abandon Fallout halfway through the season. We have 2 really exciting new ratings. Guys, we have 194 ratings. Let's just make that 6. Like, let's just add 6 more so we can get 200. That would be great. Oh my gosh, we have 133 episodes. That's actually insane. So 5 days ago, I Can't Afford a Life Coach said, in fact, we was watching 5 stars. This is what I imagine a podcast with my brother would sound like if he would actually watch decent TV. That is very frustrating. We was watching is one of my favorite recap podcasters. Thank you. Really funny and great insight. The production value is mid, but it doesn't turn me from listening. Thanks, Chanel and Brandon. Huh.
See, Chanel?
What do you think? Is it my mic?
See?
Is it my mic or is it your? I just need to know whose mic it is.
No, I just don't do.
Or is it my volume still low?
No, it's not a problem. It's that we stream live. So if you just do a podcast, you can edit, post. But we stream live while I'm recording the podcast, and so
yeah, I've honestly been thinking about that. It's very interesting because some shows have like dedicated YouTube watchers and some shows have dedicated podcast listeners. And I do think that it feels like the podcast listeners have been forsaken because we do video, but video is so fun that it's hard to choose one. But anyway, thank you for the 5 star. You choose. Okay, well then we need to stop streaming and edit it.
No, I choose YouTube too.
Then that's not true. Okay. 5 stars. A favorite. This is by Jenny B. I first started listening when looking for podcasts about Silo. Yeah, there's not a lot about that. Went back to listen to all the Dragons episodes and now watching new shows based on what we was watching recommendations. Yay. They don't miss. Oh my goodness. And I love the perspective they offer. They pick up on things that I notice in shows but can't necessarily discuss with my co-workers and co-watchers because of nuances of race, especially commentary on Severance. Right. Because you cannot go into work like, y'all saw they was doing milkshake. This podcast rose to the top of my favorites. Thank you, Chanel and Brandon. Well, I just knocked my camera out. Thank you, Jenny B. Thank you guys for your reviews. Again, if you email us or reach out to us in any other way, we is happy to respond. Wow, I just there's a lot of podcasts about Pluribus, like just Pluribus.
Yeah, because Pluribus ruled.
It was okay. There is
it ruled. You just don't want to admit it because you were skeptical beforehand. That's all.
No, it was okay, but like, I mean, this is another show where like, I don't know if you can hear that train, but the train is right outside my door apparently. I'm with the other people who are saying, hey, wait a minute, did we overhype this? Because the show tries to act like it's post-racial, but it's not like that all very much has an impact. So all that to say, it's interesting.
People try to act like what show is what?
You try to act like the show is post-racial, like, oh, there's no race because
there is no race.
But the thing is, Carol still exists, like in her culture that she brings still, like that still impacts the show. So when your protagonist is still from like the present culture, it shows up. So my point is that the dialogue I see from Black people about Pluribus is different than white people about Pluribus online, and that's all very interesting to me.
Yeah, but that's the race of the world that we exist in, not the race of the show.
But the race of that's not true because she still exists. She's still a person from our world living in that new world. So you could still judge her actions based on that paradigm because of how she shows up, because she doesn't change her personality overnight, right? Like she's still showing up the way she would have showed up if she had an issue at Sprouts in general, she would have called the manager, like that's kind of what I'm saying. So my point is that, that Black people don't love this show as much as some people do. And it's because people are acting like race and culture aren't a factor in it. That's just my 2 cents. Do want to shout out before we move on. Rob Miller's and YouTube comment said, "I love when Chanel gives Brandon the quote, 'You don't even know the old school Blair Witch Project,' end quote. Thank you, because Brandon doesn't know any classic film, so that's for sure." And then Open Minded commented on our last pluribus with some emojis. It's the cowboy emoji. I want to say these are prayer hands. Hashtag okey doke. Hashtag robot. Hashtag hot dog. Thank you. Those emojis matter a lot to me. Thank you for doing them every week. Okay, cool. So I think we're caught up on engagement. And I told you I'd put out a poll to see if people want us to do Fallout every week or what. No responses. So I'm going to assume that if we move Fallout over a little bit, y'all won't be mad because no one was clamoring for that. But again, this goes back to the thought about our audience. Like, we have people who listen and don't, but they're not on their phone while they listen or whatever. So they're not like constantly getting back to us. And so I choose to believe they're still listening and they still care. They just don't see the poll because they're not listening on Spotify and or not following us and or
didn't want to hurt your feelings. That's all.
No, it was options. One option was recap it at the end. The other was recap it every couple months. It was just a question of like, how would y'all like to see Fallout based on what me and you were discussing. With that said, though, I do genuinely believe that, like, for example, we had one person, hold up. One person on Blue Sky, one friend said, funniest dad ever said, I've only ever listened to the pods. This is a treat to put your faces with them mellifluous voices. And so that's kind of what I'm saying, is that I think some people just listen to us and go about their day and they forget that like we're looking for engagement online. Mellifluous is, it means sweet sounding. So anyway, I say all that to say, you guys,
appreciate the listens. In fact, Chanel, I don't know if you know
very
this.
Much so.
I don't know if you know this, but do you know what the game is for artists these days in terms of making money? Do you know what the game is?
Touring, streaming bots.
No.
You mixed up.
The goal of musical artists is to get onto a fall asleep playlist. I've read a lot of articles on this.
For every
because it doesn't matter. This is kind of a good and bad thing about the world that we live in today, compared to like I've been watching like a lot of documentaries about the history of hip hop recently, and reading about album sales and like seeing all the video clips of people going to the fucking record store or CD, Sam Goodies or whatever the fuck, waiting in line to get new albums and shit. In today's world, right? You don't actually have to have people listen to you. Like it doesn't matter if they listen to you. It matters if they engage with you, right? And so the game that a lot of these record companies and artists are trying to get on is they're doing everything they can to put out songs or records that can get on like background music playlists and sleep playlists, because it just plays over and over again every night, over and over and over and over and over and over again. And every time you play, it's a play, and just a play, and just a play, and just a play. So I say that to say, if you're listening to us, what I need y'all to do is those of you who don't listen to music when you sleep, if you sleep in quiet, all right? If you sleep in quiet, what I want you to do is put on our podcast, right? Have it do autoplay where it goes through all of our episodes, and just turn the volume all the way down to nothing. And that way, you sleep just like you sleep. And over the 8 hours, we get 8 hours of consumption time. You wake up in the morning, you got your phone to charge it, you have no issues with it. You connected to Wi-Fi, not using any of your data. And then you wake up in the morning, you're good to go. Pop on whatever you want to pop on. And you help us out greatly. So if you get us get us on your sleep playlist, we would greatly appreciate that.
I do think that I don't even listen to podcasts through Apple Podcasts, so I don't know how they do that, but figure that out for us, guys. Listen to us. Same thing on YouTube. You could just put us on autoplay. We would love to have you guys do that, because here's the thing: we could be making money from Spotify, but we don't have enough consumption hours. We have plenty of listeners, plenty of episodes, but not enough hours watching on here. So if you guys would just put us on autoplay, it would mean a lot,
I
especially
actually
the
think
23 of
we'll
you.
hit the consumption hours with industry.
Maybe
Looking
we'll
at the
see.
numbers.
I mean, I don't want to put too many eggs in Harper's basket, but I just want to say to the 23 of you we were your number one podcast, we could do this together, guys. We can do this together.
So we'll get to what we've been on at the end, because I've gotten feedback that you guys like it better when we jump into the reviews. So let's jump into the recap.
Once upon a time in the projects, yo.
All right, so we're here for episode 4 of Fallout. And hold on, we got a comment before we start. This is where the podcasters probably hate us, but we got a quick comment, which I'm surprised anybody's on this late. So we appreciate you in the live chat.
I don't.
Analyzing says, I caught a live. Came across you guys when I was watching Pluribus, and it was one of the better podcasts I watched. Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Oh, Anna. And I'm gonna shout you out in my what we've been on, because I saw Anaconda this week.
That's unfortunate. So Chanel, what did you think about this episode?
It was good. It was good. I got into what I think. I guess the reason why it throws me off when you ask me that is because I don't even know how to answer that. Like what I think. I'm always just gonna say it was good, but to tell you what I experienced while watching this episode. No, this is it. Better question is going to be, what do I experience? What was I experiencing when I watched this episode? What I experienced this episode was that I became really interested in the backstory and a lot more of like, what am I missing with the game? So I started to do more research finally. I have not researched a lot of Fallout. And so I looked a little bit more into like this conversation around the fact that the game itself is apparently one where there's a lot of potential outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that. And I learned that one of the potential outcomes, based on like something that they talked about or something that they showed at the end, is that they kind of settled into an outcome that is a darker one of all the possible outcomes. We'll get to it at the end, but I thought that was interesting. And I was not as mad at Lucy this episode. And I was just confused about Maximus this episode. And I'm very happy that we got Thaddeus back. Those are my high level thoughts.
So we start this episode off at the Alaskan Front. This is a battle in the Sino-American War in the game. So Chanel, did you do research on this?
Okay, that part I forgot, but I did catch up on the recap. I remembered how Cooper Howard went straight at Bud Askins and was like, "Bitch, you all proud of your military stuff, and you almost got us killed out here because you wanted to cut corners and you wanted to act like Elon and send the truck out, and it's not bulletproof." And so they show that in the preview, and then I think that that translated to the opening scene. What my question was for you that we can get into is what the monsters are connected to, if there wasn't mutation and radiation. Yeah, I'm confused about that.
So the Sino-American War was a war between the People's Republic of China and the United States in the game. And so they were the two biggest powers of the world.
Well, that I picked up on. Yep. They said Reds, and I know it was either China or Russia. And then we found out it was China.
And they had beef, and they ended up getting into a fight. So this is one of the big battles. You know how every war in every country talks about their famous battles, right? The famous battles. Mm-hmm. So this is like one of those famous battles in that war on the Alaskan Front. And Cooper alluded to it multiple times over the first couple seasons. Last season he talked about how them suits were trash and it was fucking up some of his soldier some of the soldiers at the war when he was there.
Yeah, that's
Which
what I
we
was just
saw.
saying. Like he went straight up Bud Askins. He said, "Buddy, you had us killed trying to cut corners."
And we heard earlier this season about what he did in Alaska, so we kind of saw some of that. So this was us giving a nice flashback to get a little bit more backstory on what's going on. And
Nice flashback is a crazy way to describe this scene.
basically, Coop shows up in his suit with his partner, but his partner's suit was fucking up, and they're supposed to keep going. But he looks at his partner. He's like, "Dog, if you keep going, you finna die." So, and then he was like, "What'd he say?" He was like, "Oh, he said go back to the crib. I'll be right behind you," even though he told him to keep going. So Cooper keeps going.
Yeah, they were looking for somebody. Yeah.
Cooper keeps going, and he gets ambushed by the Chinese military, and they shoot his shit, and his suit kind of stiffens up and just fucking falls, and he's just there.
Yeah, like the suit gets. I think what happened is like they shot at the knee, and it just basically shut the suit down. And he's like, "Oh, this piece of shit," and so or you fat piece of shit is what he calls the suit, and so he's immobilized, and that's what we obviously that's like because I was wondering what he meant by that, like, he's like, "Oh, you could have had Goodman die," but literally he would have died right then and there because he was completely immobile. Like if they hadn't done the whole like villain, I want to talk a little bit before I kill you thing, he would have definitely been dead.
Yeah, she went full Snidely Whiplash. Had to talk to him. That's a reference before your time, Chanel. I already know that.
Yep.
But I'll teach you about. I'll teach you about Penelope Pitstop one day.
No, thank you.
No, was Penelope Pitstop? No, he
See,
was
you don't
Dudley
even know.
Do-Right. Dudley Do-Right. Yeah.
I've heard of him.
I get my cartoons from when I was a kid mixed up.
First of all.
So then they was talking shit, and the next thing you know, they starting to get wiped off. And you look in the background, and you see a Deathclaw, and they was whipping it, and he was whipping their ass, and killed all of them. And then he kind of looked at Cooper, and it was like, "All right, you good," and then kept it moving.
Well, he got distracted by other gunshot in the area. He didn't say you good, but Cooper was like, "Oh yeah, it's a wrap for all of us." And if that thing, I just hate when stuff like perfectly comes in and solves a problem. Like the idea that the monster would just be like, "Oh, slash, got y'all," is kind of silly, but it saved the day.
So you asked, how did this exist? Because it hadn't ended the world haven't happened yet earlier. So these things were in the game. They don't confirm it and necessarily, but the TV show really just confirmed it. But in the game, they kind of allude to that these things were genetically modified, like science experiments that the government was doing, the U.S. government was doing, as like a.
They were doing them on animals too,
as like a way to replace human soldiers, to just like get a bunch of these to go to war and fight, right? So like the game never confirms it, right? Because you see these in the game, but and when you pick up, like if you play a video game, you know they have like shit laying around, you pick up and it tells you more about the world that you're in. And so they kind of allude to this, but they don't ever confirm it. So I took this as a TV show confirming that, yeah, these motherfuckers existed before the end of the world.
Yeah.
Happened.
Okay. Well, I would have actually guessed that had because I guess like the FEV of it all, or whatever it's called, opens up that can of worms, and I just assumed that was mostly for humans. But now I'm knowing that, like, I was just curious because I thought when we saw like Beast in the first season, I thought that was all due to irradiation. So now I know.
So then we go back to the present. We're at the bottle company, in the aftermath of Maximus crushing Xander's head.
And Thaddeus just standing up for his kids.
And but Thaddeus was like, all right, I think it's about time for you to go. You can get up on out of here.
All right, yeah, y'all done brought all this damn mess in my house. Now let's go. The kids got to get back to work.
And Thaddeus was like, Max was like, "No, dog, I'm gonna need you for this one." He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I'm gonna need you to get up in that suit." And he was like, "I can't pretend to be there. I'm a fucking ghoul." And he's like, "Get in the fucking suit, keep your helmet on, you'll be straight." And so he goes outside when the rest of the Brotherhood shows up, and he's like, "They're like, where the fuck you been?" He was like, "Oh, our plane got fucked up. here comes Xander. So Thaddeus is trying to come through the door, and his dumbass can't get through the fucking door.
Amazing.
And it takes him
like chef's kiss. It takes him 3 times.
It takes him 3 times to get through the fucking door, and he's joking
I don't
the
think
whole
you
time.
understand how. I don't think he was joking. I think he was earnestly trying to get through the door, and I really enjoyed it. Like he's like, oh, he keeps like just hitting his head on the door frame, and then he goes 1 foot, 2 feet. And to be fair, not only has he been ghouled out, he barely was in a suit before, and so now he has to practice. Like that is a lot, I think, to ask anyone. And his bit of him in that suit was my favorite part of the entire episode, to be clear.
We go to Vegas. And right outside of Vegas, Lucy finally comes to. He's with the NCR. They basically gave her an IV of drugs. So this drug, the drug that they gave him is like a steroid, but it's like super addictive. So when you take it, it's like in a game. In the game, when you take it, it gives you like
cortical perks.
Like you say, like perks.
Cortical perks, like instead of steroids.
Yeah. So like in the game, when you take it, your stats get like a big boost, like a really big boost, but you become really addicted to it, and then it starts fucking with you. And so, just like in the TV show, you can take other drugs to balance out the effects of those drugs, but then you get it is it's a cyclical effect of all these different drugs.
Which is so funny because I've been someone else I've been on is I rewatched John Mulaney's special Baby J, and he talks about how when he was addicted to drugs, he would take uppers and downers to balance it out, and that is terrifying to me. That's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it is. That's a great analogy.
It sounds like Xanax and Adderall to make them balance out. Yeah.
So she asks, she's like, "Where the rest of y'all at?" And they was like, "Y'all by." And he said, "Oh, it's a bunch of us. What you mean? We just got lost over here. It's a whole bunch of us. We just got to catch up with our crew. We be straight."
By the way, we didn't recognize that's dude.
What dude?
That's Greg.
Oh yeah, Greg from White Lotus. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, he's just there, just acting all like he's not Greg. And
then they ask, they keep talking. They're like, "All right, we finna go." And then she was like, "Look, it's really dangerous out there, man. It sounds like you're on a mission. Are you like looking for someone you hate or someone you care about?" And the ghoul was like, "Oh, what a good ass question that is. What
which
say
one?
You, Lucy?" And
that was my second favorite part. It's him sitting there smug, like he's like, "Oh, hey, tell him about what you want to tell him."
Lucy says, "Someone who hurt a lot of people." And the old girl was like, "Oh, all right. So what you finna do when you find them?" And she said, "I'm gonna bring them to justice." And she's like, "That's right. That's what we do with the."
That's not.
NCR. But we bring people to justice.
What court of justice is there? Because the problem is like there's no justice anywhere. Because if the NCR isn't operating, they're like what they think is a replacement government. Which, to be fair, like everything is a social experiment. So if people are into it, then the NCR is kind of the de facto government, like justice system. Because when you get back to that vault, you know what I mean? They're gonna turn the gas on y'all. Like none of those overseers are interested in upholding your justice. So I think obviously I haven't played the games. I'm just guessing, but it's clearly gonna come down to like a violence or some type of other type of justice for her, because there is no court right now that will like do anything for her father. Everyone else in the universe that is on the side of NCR or was Shady Sands will just want to kill him.
I agree. Then they gave Lucy and the ghoul some guns, and so then we cut to Vault 33, and they having an incest party with all the people who were incest babies, and they having a good time connecting.
But you know what I peeped? I peeped on my second watch that sometimes I don't even think all these people are incest babies, or they could be. Well, everyone is technically somewhat an incest baby, like in theory. But I think the people are just there for the food. So they're like, yeah, I think it's my third cousin. I don't know for sure though. Like it's people whose parents aren't even incest, like it's related. It's just people who are like guessing their genealogy so they can eat the snacks and drink the punch. Because basically everyone else is rationing.
They didn't even have punch.
Yeah, well, some people did, but yeah, they did have punch. They had red punch, and then they had water. And some people are like, you could tell that is a very important thing because they're rationing throughout the rest of the thing. So, and that, whatever, I forget his name, but homeboy is like so out of touch with reality, because like I get it, you do want a club and you want something to do, but like, to be fair, if you're doing caviar, like while people, if like the whole town is on bread lines and you're like, okay, but I'm going to take the government funds to pull up caviar, then they don't really want your club, they want your food. But anyway, I just thought that was like a funny thing, that this guy who's annoying in the reboot of the season is now like taking way more rations than he needs to. So people are complaining like, oh, the water's out, and he just takes the two big canteen things, like he's just about to go fill it up like it's easy, as if he has no awareness that they're in a drought, and they're in like a serious ass, like very serious, very bad drought.
Well, they're not in a drought. Well, I guess that's I guess that's the way you could describe it. But
ain't no water.
Well, there's water. They can't access it because they have this device to get the water that's fucked up. And so they need to figure out how to get a new one.
You know what they need? They need that Sandy Springs water. Shady Springs.
They should go find that
Sandy
impossible
Springs
white man
is a
that
city
died.
in Georgia. Well, again and again, impossible white man is a term for any man of any race that just does things impossibly, and it's like a character that has all the answers for no reason. Brandon introduced that term for anyone who's like, what is he referencing? One, but for two, I don't even think he's discovered that. I think there's just water that's no longer like irradiated, but that's my theory.
Him and Betty getting Betty getting an argument about the resources, and he was like, dog, you told me to do this shit, and plus my rations are engraved, okay? They are in the charter.
He says they're in the charter. That's hilarious. He wrote it. He baked punch and Kool-Aid into the contract.
So she ain't had no shit to say, so he went on about his business. We cut back to Lucy and the ghoul, and the ghoul tells Lucy, she's like, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. Like, she's tweaking. She's like, what's going on with me? Like, what is this feeling? And the ghoul's like, I know what that feeling is.
She said, I'm hungry, but not for food.
She said, you addicted to drugs. And she goes, no,
like,
I'm not.
Go through withdrawals, honey. Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yes, you are. And so he was like, there's two ways to handle this. You can start vomiting and be in a lot of pain, and it'll pass in about 4 to 5 hours. Or you could do what I do. You could take more drugs. And Lucy looked at the town, how close they were to the town, and she was like, I don't got 4 to 5 hours. I'm trying to go get my daddy right now.
4 to 5 days. Yeah, she definitely don't have 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, 4 to 5 days. I'm trying to go get my daddy right now. I need them drugs. So he gave him some more drugs. So we go back to Area 51, and Dane runs up on Max. He was like, bruh, this shit is getting out of hand. Where the fuck were you? And he was like, he couldn't answer. And then he looks in the corner and he sees Thaddeus' dumbass can't even get out the fucking ship. And he goes, what the fuck did you do? And Max was like, I killed Xander.
Yeah, immediately. By the way, he's scooting out like a baby who's trying to learn how to fall off the couch. That's how he's getting out the copter. He's like, hell no, y'all did something. Can you imagine how much you have to understand somebody's on bullshit for you to look at the person in the suit from all the way over and be like, nah, y'all did something.
Yeah, but everybody else is like, oh, this motherfucker from the Brotherhood, from the Commonwealth must be a dumbass. Like, they're not even paying no attention to Thaddeus acting stupid. And then...
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. So for them to clock it that quickly means that they're probably the only they're probably smarter than Max when it comes to like everybody at the Brotherhood. Like, they're the only person not drinking the Kool-Aid, essentially.
So then Max tells Dane, not only did I kill Xander, I'm finna kill the cleric. And Dane didn't even bat an eye. It was like, all right then. And then Max was like, listen, do me a favor. Go get the kids. Take them to safety. I'm gonna meet you out there when I'm done with this shit. It's like, all right. So then we go back to LA for Norm and his crew outside of Vault 33. And they basically, acting the same way they was acting last episode. But one woman he met, she was like, hey dog, I only been working for this motherfucker for like 3 months. Like, and I don't think she said 3 months. I think she said 4 weeks, actually. I think she said, I just started this shit like 4 weeks, but like Bud taking a liking to me. So, I got to be in
No,
the
she
vault.
said last week my
Did she say
ass was
last
driving
week?
over this. Yeah, she said a week ago I was driving over that bridge on my way to my interview. And imagine, like, that's how much they were hiring. They were like, help needed urgently.
And he was like,
They
all
said
right.
no need to apply. They said one click, one step apply. Just go ahead and just don't even worry about a resume. Just pull up and we will pay you a day rate. Like, can you imagine you go to an interview and that job happens to be the thing that saves you from being caught up in like nuclear holocaust?
I mean, that is the best luck of all time, right?
I maybe, I mean, or some people might say, let's just let it be. Some people say it's my time to go. Would you rather be a ghoul or rather have gone out with the bomb?
I'd rather be in the vault.
You would rather be in there with your cousins. I get it.
No, not in that vault.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the
No,
vault.
I get it. That's what. No,
I'd rather be frozen in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ronnie shows up.
I did want to say something though. I was looking at this because this was going to take this was bothering me. I don't know. I need somebody to confirm the exact type of like bombs that they dropped in Fallout, but I'm just generally looking at isotopes, and it looks like in water, the half-life of some radiation is potentially like 300 or so years. Like the most is like 300 years, and then uranium is like forever. So unless there are uranium bombs, my point is that the water will eventually become safe. Eventually, but we're 200 years past the bombs now. So like what I'm saying is some water will on its own become safe. And so that brings me back to my point, which is that it's kind of like a silo situation in a way of, because they're stuck in the vaults and won't go out, they don't realize like there could be fresh water right there, but they have no idea because they refuse to go out and see. So I'm a little bit skeptical about like this false. It's giving
except
it's
in
giving
Silo,
the
it is
join.
fucked up out there where they are.
No, it is, but like it's giving the join in. The thing is, like, again in Silo, the people who are trying to stop them actually do believe that things are bad. They just are willing to lie to make people believe that. I think in this situation, they know that it was concocted and therefore there probably is some type of fresh water supply, but they're not willing to suspend the power that they have over a generation. So again, like 31 is willing to, or 32 is willing to let 33 go to hell so that 32 can continue doing what they're doing.
So then Ronnie shows up and he was like, "Hey dog, I used to be Bud's like right hand man, and I know what they was doing in that."
And you like, it's time to do part 2, right? Like I'm checking my watch, and the G-Shock is saying that it's time for us to do the other thing.
And Norm don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but he tried to play it off. And
yeah, he's such an asshole. He's like, "What do you know about it?"
And so Ronnie was like, "I know what they was doing in Vault 33. I know about them experiments, dog. So I think we're gonna have a little conflict.
A little FEV. And I went straight to the search.
And what
straight
did you
to the
find?
search. I found that FEV is some type, is like, I forget, it's like something forced evolutionary virus or some shit. And essentially it goes back to the theory about the monsters and the people. And so we thought, my understanding is that each vault, okay, my brain's breaking a little bit. Each vault had a different premise and potentially a different experiment. And I didn't know if 32 and then 32 and 31, no, 32, 33. I didn't know if those were like the breeding ones, if that's what it was about. But it suggests that they have experiments that have yet to be employed, because this FEV can change DNA, and so it can kind of create monsters or superhumans or like maybe powers or like gross stuff. So that's what I think it's alluding to, is this idea that like at some point they're going to experiment that, and that happens after Reclamation Day. So I don't know if that means like when the Earth, I'm assuming it has to do now with when they can roam the Earth again, they're going to control the vault people to take back the Earth. Maybe that's what it is. I hadn't thought this far. But I think what's fucking me up is that I just realized if every vault is being experimented on, then like it really is just about the overseers and never was about the vaultees and like those families. That's really dark.
That was very dark.
Also, I started listening to gameplay. Like I started listening to like game summaries. This is the most complicated. This is as complicated as a token. This is freaking George R.R. Martin type shit. Like so many characters, so many factions. So I was like, I actually can't follow this.
That's because you're not a gamer. You're not a gamer.
This is a complicated game.
It's not that complicated. You're just not a gamer.
Okay.
You know? It's all right. Everybody's
First
not a
of all,
gamer.
in the recap, I got one third way through the recap of Fallout New Vegas, and I heard about 7 different tribes. I heard about different timeline, like different timeline character arcs and timelines that were intersecting. And my point is just like once you're telling me about couriers and about wars and about like these different, like there's just a lot of pieces on the board to track. So it's not that I'm not a gamer as much as like I would get lost in the story of like, all right, I could play the game, but like I would be like, okay, which faction and what am I doing now and why? And I could just tell that this is why gaming ruins so many relationships, because the mental power it takes for you to go into this world and normalize this means you have to forget your kids' allergies or something. Because like there's no way you can hold that in your brain and also be here with us. That's all.
We go to Vault 33 and Betty and Stephanie. Betty's trying to get that water. She's like, "Hey, dog, you know, let us get off your water because our shit's fucked."
Yeah, they parlaying.
And Stephanie's like, I don't feel like I gotta help you about that. I got other shit I gotta deal with. All that matters right now to me is my baby. But I heard there was something, you know, on your side of the vote. If you can get me that shit, I might be inclined to share my water with you. And Betty's like, "What is it?" She was like, "You know, that's Vault 31 shit. All right, you stay in Vault 33 and worry about Vault 33 shit, and I'm gonna worry about the shit over here. How about that?" Meanwhile, the whole time while they talking, Dylan is snooping around. And
Dylan, Zach Cherry being criminally underused here.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm glad he got his talking in this episode. I'm just saying, like, we have a comedy legend.
Dylan is about to be Costanza. That's what he's about to be.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Side note though,
no, not hilarious. He's about to be typecast. You know, Jason Alexander.
Oh, you mean as an actor in general, and they're gonna only let him play that guy?
Yes, Jason Alexander is like was like a theater actor, right? Like at one point, like he's like a really good actor.
Talk about that, yeah.
And then he becomes George Costanza, like one of the funniest characters on TV, and now he's just George Costanza. There's nothing. No one wants to hire him to be anything but George Costanza.
Okay,
if you see him show up on TV,
hyperbologically.
What you mean?
You're going too far. He's been in other stuff. People I think there's like the problem for me is like there's people who don't follow TV film, and then there's like the average person who doesn't think about it. And so like, yeah, the average person to that person be George Costanza, but then anybody who understands that that's just a man who played a really good character, recognizes that he can do some other stuff. I think he did something else very cool recently, I think, and that's what I was trying to remember. But no, I mean, I hear you. He definitely got typecast. I don't know if Zach Cherry's about to get typecast or if he's about to get like I said, like underused in the future.
Did you ever watch Harley Quinn? The cartoon,
the movie
on HBO?
Hell no.
Why you say like
he was in that?
It's fucking awesome.
We've never discussed that. I've never watched any cartoons before this show. I never sat up.
It's like a adult cartoon, like extremely adult.
No, I'm saying like before we was watching, the only cartoons I watched were like in the Seth MacFarlane universe. I was not a cartoon girl.
Not a gamer. Don't like cartoons. Typical.
I didn't say I'm not a gamer. You said I'm not a gamer. I said Fallout had a lot of stuff that was very confusing for me to follow.
Very stereotypical.
Don't call me not a gamer.
Very
Don't call me not a
stereotypical.
gamer. I am a gamer. I don't like that. I am a gamer, but I haven't seen every single cartoon. With that said, he is in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So he's not a Costanza there, talking about Jason Alexander. And his real name is Jay Greenspan. That's hilarious. I do think he's potentially going to be typecast. I hope he figures his way out of that. But at the end of the day, I'm looking right now, and Jason Alexander has been married to the same woman for more than 40 years, and is worth about 50 million according to Celebrity Net Worth. So there's worse things to be typecast. There's, you know what I mean? There's worse things to happen to you.
And so then Betty was like, all right then, like, you're not finna hold us hostage. And Stephanie's like, all right then, peace. And in the background you see the dude that was carrying her baby around. What did you see what he found in the drawer? It just looked like did he open that thing up?
It was a purse, and it was her Canadian
permanent Canadian. That's
citizenship.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, what? He's like Canada. What is this?
So yeah, I forgot. I missed that part. The Canadian is kind of an Easter egg. It's kind of an Easter egg in this universe, but I'm not going to say what happens because it's kind of a spoiler.
But you didn't. I feel like you missed some of my best work.
I don't miss your best work. I always catch your best work. I laugh very hard at your best work.
He said he would say Canada. What's that? Because he never heard of Canada.
Like I said, I never miss your best work. Ever.
Wow.
Like I don't think I've ever missed your best work.
Other people might like it, so don't step on it is all I'm asking. Let other people somebody's laughing. Somebody's laughing, bro.
Back at Area 51, Thaddeus is acting a whole ass. He even in the fucking cafeteria with his whole suit on. Like, and he got food. Like, what you finna do? You're not about to eat through the suit? Like, what are you doing?
That was I really thought he was gonna be like bringing it up under, like he was gonna have to do the visor. He had no plan, but this is my favorite part. He's forgetting because he hasn't been. If he was in a suit, it was briefly, and it's been a while since he's done it. He's self-talking himself. This is what I wanted to write it down, but he's self-talking, and his self-talk is being projected out. So he's like, you're okay. You got this. You are loved. You matter. You're important. And the whole cafeteria is hearing him talk like that to himself. And that had me scream. I thought that was so funny. And I love that he's been practicing his affirmations as a ghoul. Because some people would become a ghoul and be like, man, I hate myself. But no, he's like, I'm gonna make the best out of this. Because you know what? Most kids are dead by now, by this age.
And Max goes to kill the cleric, and he was already ready for this. He's like, "Oh, you killed Xander. What you finna kill me next?" And then he starts giving the speech.
He's like, he's basically like, about to talk. I don't know why Maximus was not prepared for this. Like, this nigga has gotten to where he's gotten without wielding a sword, so the pen is his weapon, and so like he can use words and convince people, and he's a religious guy, so like there's some preaching happening. So my point is, you need to be prepared for him to defend himself verbally. I'll give you that. I mean, I think of Quintus as a little bit more evil, but let's see, he's more like who uses their power of words for worse. I don't even want to think of like politics. I'm trying to think of like a rapper who uses. He's
Nicki Minaj doesn't use her powers for worse. She's just terrible off the mic. She's not terrible on the mic.
Good point. But I'm saying like that same passion. Oh, I'm freezing. I froze. That same passion that makes her a great writer is the same reason why she's an asshole in other instances. So anyway, Quintus Minaj is like, look, why would you kill me? If you kill me, there's no hope. It's all gonna go to war. It's all gonna go to shit. I'm the only one with the vision here. I'm the only one who believes in the real mission, and I want to do right. So like, you know what? Just come and tell me what you did, and we could fix this together. Which idiot, right? And so he go, because like they have issues, but the real issue that they have with like the Commonwealth is that everyone wants power, but they believe in the same thing. Like they're all religious fanatics in a way. So like you're not gonna get Quintus on your side with like humanity when he believes some things are not worthy of humanity, right? So anyway, he goes, well, yeah, I killed him because he was gonna kill some kids, and Quintus is like, we can fix this. Honestly, and he goes, and they were ghouls. He goes, what the oh hell? Literally goes in his drawer, pulls out his own gun, has time to load up, and is like, you gotta die for that, because I cannot believe, like, you're a heretic. I cannot believe you did this. Like you knew you messed up when you tried to let those abominations live on. And so somehow, even though my boy Max is like he's like the highest of the guild or whatever, he gets shot at by Quintus Minaj without seeing it coming. Like he couldn't get the shot off in time. Like that, I think that was kind of sad. Like
no, it wasn't that. It's that he didn't have it in him to kill him.
He was not going to shoot him. You're right. Like he didn't want to, but it's like something that happened in Anaconda, where somebody doesn't kill the person coming after them. And I sat with myself and I said, would I have, like, they knocked them out, right? And they don't kill them. And I sat with myself and I thought, would I have killed them or would I have not? You know what I mean? I had to really think about that. Sometimes you got to do it think about the people. Like you said, it's the Batman conundrum.
And Chanel very much related to Quintus in this speech. Like she was definitely Team Quintus, and I was Team Max. And Max runs out, and in the meantime, back in the cafeteria, the different faction leaders went over to who they thought was Xander.
Yosemite. Yep.
And they was trying to do backdoor deals with him.
Yosemite, the woman, was the one who came up and was like, it's so worth watching because it's so silly. But yeah, she's like, hey, just so y'all know, I was never on this bush. I was never gonna fight them. Like, honestly, I was just here to just be here. And then Coronado comes over and is like, what is she talking about? She's just over here yapping. And she says, if you keep talking, I'm gonna stab you in the side of your face. And he's like, anyway, you're a woman. So then he's like, we can do whatever you want to do. We can kill everybody. Like like you said, they keep trying to jockey for like the faction that doesn't get punished for the uprising.
And then the whole time, Thaddeus is having a panic attack. And and they're like, what the fuck is a panic attack? And he's like, tries to explain what a panic attack is. And at that point, Yosemite gets pissed off and stabs him
and the old guy
face.
goes, I don't know what that is. And he goes, it's like I can't breathe, like my heart's racing. He goes, oh, it's like a coronary, meaning it's like a heart attack. He goes, just walk it off. I was like, this is that dialogue was so sick. He tells him to walk off his heart attack, and like there's confusion because the Yosemite lady is like, okay, I'm gonna open up your visor because obviously you have a panic attack, you need to breathe, and there becomes confusion there, and then that's when the fighting with Quintus and Maximus breaks off.
Yeah, and then he gets stabbed in his face.
Like she said she would. A woman who will.
Listen, but Chanel, listen, I went back and watched this scene twice. Because I was like, what is going on back there? And so when she, this is so funny. When she stabbed him in the face, like, and you saw like his tongue and stuff out, there was like somebody on like the backside of the cafeteria who was looking at this whole thing happen. And that person was like,
you got knocked the fuck out, man. Give me my goddamn money.
That's what happened.
There was a person there.
Did you see it? You have to rewind it to go watch that.
I saw it on my rewatch. No, I saw it on my rewatch. Everybody, stop what you're doing. Go watch it. Make sure you don't miss that part.
It was so. We haven't played clips on the show in a long time because I didn't want Chanel to get, booted. But I had to play that clip from Fallout because it was the funniest part of the episode.
No, it's relevant. It's culturally relevant. I agree.
And so then the big fight breaks out, and Maximus locks the cleric in the room, and he goes back. He grabbed Dane, and this whole time had gotten the artifact, and he took that shit. And him and the kids.
He was like, "Ooh," he's like, "I'm thinking about it. I have a new idea," which was very smart because, again, because Maximus did not complete the mission.
Him and the kids and Maximus dipped. So then we go back to Vault 32.
Well, no, sorry. He gives Maximus the cold fusion and says, "Get as far away from here as you can." So Maximus and Thaddeus escape together while what's his man's name?
Maximus should have went out there and got himself a suit.
Yeah, I think that was stupid. He's running bareback. But what's his name? The guy you just mentioned with the D. Dane, it has the kids and is like gonna stay behind or whatever. So basically, all the chaos pops off because people don't even know that Maximus just tried to go for Quintus Minaj. They just think that the fight's finally about to break out because they couldn't come together to start a revolution.
So we go back to Vault 32, and Dylan is trying to like basically tell on his boss. People. And so he's Dylan's basically like, I read the whole rule book and I saw a violation. And we're supposed to report this to my overseer, but what happens when the violation is your overseer? And Stephanie the whole time is like, yeah, you did a great job, Dylan. I'm very proud of you. I appreciate this. This is excellent. And we'll take this into consideration. And Dylan's like, but
yeah, wait. I just like, this is also a scene worth watching because the way that she is taken aback, like she's so enthusiastic to play the role of overseer, right, to him because he's a rule follower and she knows how that goes. She's like, all right, let me just appease him. But you can see like her true side come out when he comes to her, and you can also tell how green he is because he's not even alert to the fact that she's doing this because she's evil. He's just thinking like, okay, I need to talk to her. I'm confused, but his dumb ass is not. I mean, that's how Lucy is, right? Like he's walking around like, well, surely she means me no harm. So I should be able to snitch to her with no retaliation, said nobody in the real world ever.
And then at the end, Dylan asks Steph, like, what experiments? I heard you say something about experiments. What is that? And she goes, oh, that's G4 classified shit, Dylan. Like, your brain can't even handle what that is. So don't even worry about it. We good. You're good. You did a good job coming to me on this. Don't even worry about that shit. Just pretend you ain't heard it. Like, forget the word experiment. Just erase it out of your vocabulary. You be cool.
She says it even ruder than that. She's like, it's none of your business. You're not qualified to know about my job. And so I don't know why you think your opinion matters. Bye. Like she scoots him out. Meanwhile, because homeboy has discovered her ID, he's shook, but he's doing a good job of playing it cool in this moment because he knows something's going on and his face is doing a lot of face acting, but I do not believe that he actually understands what he's discovered. But whenever him and Norm link up, it's going to be revolutionary. They're going to figure a lot out together.
So then we go back to New Vegas and Lucy finds what she thinks to be baby chicken eggs. And the ghoul's like, that ain't no chicken eggs. And you can see him freaking out.
So by the way, with this New Vegas thing, this is when I really started doing the research because we saw, I think you already said we saw like the Vegas, the Elvis Huns or.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, we did see them earlier.
So they're not from before, but like so this is where it locks into one of the storylines from the show. So apparently, again, like there's a bunch of storylines at the end of Fallout New Vegas that relate to Justin Trudeau's character, not the rich one, the other one. Not Howard, the other one. Come on, there's like two white guys in back in the day. What the one he has to kill? House, Mr. Richard House. Robert House. Okay, so Robert House is this mastermind that we've seen in the beginning of this season, so he's going to be a part of the storyline. So anyway, my research, without spoiling it too much because I think they already have done some spoiling, is that there's different outcomes in the reality that happened 10 years before this. And so in a lot of the outcomes he dies and things are good. In one of the outcomes where he doesn't die and he persists, New Vegas goes flat like this because he wins, and he ultimately wins after losing, I guess, something like that. And then the point is that this timeline they've locked into and made canon, like because this is the one they've chosen for the show to be, it's apparently one of the more morbid like storylines outcomes, because it's one where he again like persists, house wins in the end, or something, like not in the end, but like he's still around 10 years later, whereas there's plenty of other multiverses in this movie where he didn't win, and like so New Vegas is still populated. So the fact that New Vegas is isolated and dead is definitely related to the games, but it's also bad news because it means that like the bad guy got his way 10 years ago or whatever the fuck. So that was interesting to me, and that's what got me listening to like Fallout New Vegas commentary and recaps, because I was curious about all the players and whatever. The one thing I will say though is like it doesn't I'm not caught up between like what happens in the Fallout New Vegas and where we're at now, but I just understand that like this is not a good thing that New Vegas is empty.
And we see that it's empty because there's a Deathclaw there. And the Deathclaw comes out, and Lucy's still hopped up on drugs, so she's ready to fight. And the ghoul,
she's like, we can do it. Let's go.
He don't want no parts of that.
Yeah.
And then we cut to black. That was the end of the episode.
To be fair, like some creatures you're like, I got this, let me cut his head off. The Deathclaws are not giving. They're giving slash move on. Let me rip up 3 people at a time, 3 Chinamen, and just go about my day. So
that's it. We'll figure out what we're gonna do. We're either gonna keep doing Fallout, finish it at the end of the season. Well, we're gonna definitely finish it at some point, but we haven't decided if we're gonna do the whole season or not. Next week we're definitely starting Industry, and then the week after that we'll see. That's when Game of Thrones comes out, or we'll keep doing Fallout. We haven't decided yet. But Industry Sunday, so we're definitely doing Sunday.
Have you ever said something and then you're like, something about this feels wrong?
Yes.
I did not mean to be offensive when I called them Chinamen. They are Chinese people. Chinaman apparently is a slur. I apologize. I was not intentional. I was just like Chinese man, Chinaman. I just said it quickly, thinking like just put the phrase together. With my memory, I didn't realize it was a bad thing.
There's no need to apologize. It goes right in line with your character on the show. So
that's not funny. As you all know, I love Rush Hour, so I wouldn't do that on purpose.
If someone who would love Rush Hour is the exact person who would do that on purpose. So let's talk about what we've been on.
Don't watch TV.
Chanel, you saw a terrible movie. Tell us about it.
Didn't do that. I did see Anaconda.
Yes, what I said.
Would you like to hear about that experience?
That's what I said.
Did you see Anaconda?
No, because it's a terrible movie.
Okay, so why are you telling me it's terrible? If you see it and think it's terrible, cool. But stop. See, this is the man who wouldn't watch Weapons because he thought Weapons was about to get scary. He just takes other people's opinions and runs with them. I want you to have your own opinion from having watched it on your own. I enjoyed Anaconda. You know why? Because movies are supposed to be a fun experience at the movies. Everything can't be about like death and life and everything in between. Everything can't be, Marriage Story, Malcolm and Marie. Everything can't be Fruitvale Station. Everything can't be Sinners. You know what I mean? Some stuff is just like bubblegum movie pop. Like I missed Jack Black singing to me. I love seeing him just like be himself at this age and play a relatable character. That's what Jack Black does. Paul Rudd's just happy to be here, and I'm happy to be him. And actually, it spurred a very fun question I have for you, which is, well, really, we could go all day. I actually would like to like really ask this question, but I forgot to prep you ahead of time. Paul Rudd is the white man I would choose to be for a day. Who would you choose for a day as a white man that you would walk in their shoes? And while you think about that, I'll tell you why Paul Rudd. Because Paul Rudd is just a handsome white guy who's like not bad at his job. He's not the most amazing at it, but he's not bad. And he's just fun to be.
Zaddy.
Paul Rudd is the zaddy alert. He is the zaddy alert. That's a fact. Jack Black is also zaddy. Steve Zahn is almost zaddy now that's somebody who's been Costanza. I need Steve Zahn to stop playing like somebody who's neither here nor there. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is Paul Rudd is like, just seems like a cool guy to be. You just handsome, got money. I'm sure he has problems like the rest of us, but he just seemed fun. And I really did like this duo, and I think they had great chemistry. And Thandie Newton was in it, and she didn't have like a serious, super dramatic character. She got to be a fun girl for once, because Thandie's always like, slaying robots or doing something thoughtful and thought-provoking, and here she just got to be a chick. I really like that for her. And there's some fun little there's some fun callbacks to the original Anaconda. And what I enjoyed about it, I'll say to wrap it up, because I haven't even done my 1-minute recap. I've fallen off. But what I'll say to wrap that up is that I enjoyed this. The whole point of the movie was that these guys had gotten older and they had lost track of their dreams to make movies, and they locked back in. And as somebody in their 30s who's trying to make sure to like pay the bills but also pursue those things while also feeling like, okay, the economy is going to collapse any day now, that's just a nice message to hear and see, and how they figured that out and make their dreams come true. So I definitely am in the Anaconda. And also, what else did I say I watched that I wanted to you want to hear something random I've been doing? I did a side quest recently.
What'd you do?
So at my grandma's house, you know how like TVs just have channels now where like they just play the same shit, like it'll be a whole channel like devoted to Criminal Minds. So The Walking Dead has a channel, and it reminded me that I never finished the series. And I was like, all right, where did I leave off? Like, whenever I try to go start watching it again, I get so bored I cannot finish it. And it's crazy because that was like appointment viewing, but it's just like the mood of Walking Dead and the pace is so much slower than anything else on TV. But AMC is like that anyway. So I was like, all right, let me catch up to where I'm at, because I remember vaguely it was something about Negan, something about Carol. Long story short, I found Skybound TV, I think it is. They did a recap, a retrospective of the entire season, and so I got through seasons 6, 7, and 8 that way. And actually, I recapped from seasons 1 through 8. I watched their videos, and that was very helpful. And so now I'm going to attempt to start back and watch season 9 and see if I can finish the series for once. Because I've been trying to go back and finish things. I'm trying to finish things I started.
Good luck with
that. Because I have a lot of series I've orphaned. You don't think I'm gonna finish it?
No, I don't.
I'm not you. I do go back and finish my shows. When you said you was gonna finish You before the new year, I don't even want to talk about You again. Actually, let's throw You out. I hope you enjoy what you watched so far. We're not finishing that. We're just gonna leave it be, because I don't have time to be chasing you down and finish series anymore.
By the way,
what have you been on?
Our Pluribus episode 1 and 2 is now our 3rd most listened to episode we've ever done. So we appreciate all you Pluribus fans who came to watch us. And hopefully you stay around for the rest of our episodes. So we appreciate you all greatly. I am rewatching Industry season 3 because, I like to prepare for our shows and make sure I got everything fresh in my mind and ready to go.
Yeah. If you're a listener of the show, you know that Brandon always talks shit when I do that, when I rewatch the show from the beginning, because I need to recap 1.
No, because you try to do it the day before we record. Oh man, I gotta binge this 10 hours.
Okay, question. Didn't we have an issue? We recorded a recap of seasons 1 and 2, and that got fucked up, didn't it? We did an industry recap and then it messed up. Do you remember that? It was 2 summers ago.
We did.
Okay, so that's what I thought. Okay, it didn't exist because we tried to give y'all a summary. Damn, I wonder if we could redo that. Maybe we could redo seasons 1 through 3. Maybe we probably should. I mean,
we should do it as a short.
Didn't you say I can do the how can we do 3 seasons as a short?
That's out there right now. What are you talking about?
But how can we do it in our style as a short?
Easy.
You're just saying stuff. Okay. Anyway, guys, if you want to tweet us, beep us, reach us, let us know that you want to do that. I think we should do it. Anyway, I remember doing that. I do not understand why people like Pluribus that much, but I'm glad you guys are watching. And I don't want you to get distracted. What white man would you be for a day?
Sir Patrick Stewart.
That's Professor X, right?
That's Jean-Luc Picard.
Okay, because you want to be him in Doomsday while he's filming Doomsday, right? Because you saw
No.
that teaser I sent you. That
No.
teaser I sent you thought was fake, ended up being real.
No, it was
We
fake.
got my OG X.
It
There's
was
no
fake.
validation.
It wasn't real.
No, it ends up being real. They put the real one out, and it's the same one.
It wasn't the same one.
We got original costume. My boy Scotty. I'm excited. I mean, I'm praying for Iceman cameo. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna get it, but I would love to see it. Okay, so this is my next question. What black women would you trade places with for a day?
Serena Williams.
That feels sexual somehow. What
No,
Asian
she's married to a
man-
rich billionaire, and she do whatever the fuck she wants.
True. What Asian person, either gender, any gender expression, would you be for a day?
That's a hard question. I don't know about the personal
It's
lives of
not.
too many Asian celebrities.
Well, I don't know about the personal life of Paul Rudd. I'm just going off of vibes.
Yeah, but you can imagine what his personal life would be. You know who I'd like to
Yeah,
be?
you can imagine what
George
Ronnie Chang's personal
Takei.
life- There we go. See, that's what I'm
Because
talking
he
about.
has the best voice of all time.
I would. That sounds good. George Takei probably has a pretty chill life. If I was, I would do Stephen Yeun because I love him. He's my fave. He's one of my favorite people. And then I might do Stephanie Su, or actually, there's a lot of Asian women I could trade with. They're pretty cool. And also like Asian is so broad, but I'm just gonna let's Stephanie Shu. How did I say it? Hugh or Shu? Stephanie Shu is what I meant to say. And then I would just let's just call that all of Asia. What last thing. What billionaire would you trade with for a day?
I mean, that's the easiest question you've ever asked me. It would be Oprah.
That's funny. For me, the answer depends on if I have to return the body in the same condition that I got it. Because there's a lot I could do for the movement with some self-sabotage for 24 hours.
No, because you wouldn't be able to return. You'd be gone. That's what I'm
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Watched?
If it's just 24 hours, then no matter what happens at the end of the day, we switch back and they have to deal with the consequences, then I'm good. If it's that's what I'm saying. I said if, then
you don't watch sci-fi.
There we go.
I see. Because you'd be gone.
I didn't say that. I was just throwing out the if. You're acting like it's so. It has to be this way. Okay. What performer would you be for?
Listen,
what
this is too many. What
artist?
is this? 21
Last
questions?
one. Yes, 21 questions. This is something I thought about. I spent time thinking about this. What music
You
artist
didn't
would
prep
you be?
me on this.
I know, that's why I'm asking. That's my preferred way to do it. Music artist. Last one. Who would you prefer? What crowd would you want to perform in front of with what music?
Parliament Funkadelic.
That
I want to be George Clinton.
With, I'm assuming, with the assistance of drugs.
Of course, George Clinton rules.
I don't think Beyonce would. I can't take my body being beaten up like that. I think I would want to be. I'd be Cardi B. No, I'd be Megan. Because she has great costumes. She has a lot of fun. People love her. Her music is lit. It makes you confident. She works hard, but she also has her fun. She doesn't go too crazy. Either that or I'd be like Erykah Badu. I'd be somebody who can perform on a stool.
That sounds incredibly boring. You're
Okay.
not about
Well,
the
that's
fun.
been.
George Clinton is fun. You don't want to have
No, that'd
fun?
be fun. I'm just thinking, like, because obviously the
Cardi
answer
B
is
is
Beyonce,
fun.
but the thing is,
Badu sounds like.
but the thing is that
What are you gonna tell me? You want to be
you're right.
Lauryn Hill so you can show up late?
honestly, show up late and people are still glad and stay when I do, and then they go home and they go, "Damn, she was late as hell, but it was sure was
I don't
good."
know if
That
they're
I
glad.
relate. I relate to that. No, I think that's true. Like, no, if I could be a, you know who I would be? I would be the Weeknd. I would fully be the Weeknd, because the Weeknd can do and say anything, and people will lose their minds over it. He can do anything. People love him. They love. Oh, or Eminem. I'd be Eminem. I take it back. I'd be Eminem, because Eminem don't dance. Eminem don't do nothing, but everybody in that stadium knows every single word. Okay. Thanks for playing the game. Appreciate you today. Is that all you've been on?
Yes. Before Chanel does the outro, remember, if you sleep with no sound on, put our podcast on Spotify. Open Spotify, play our podcast, turn it all the way down, wake up in the morning, you good. We appreciate
Let's
that.
be clear. Okay. I want to talk about the nuance there. So you can make sure your ringer is on, but your sound is down. Those are two different things. So make sure your ringer is on. Don't let us mess up your alarm, but set a second one just in case. Two is, you don't have to turn the volume down. You can just listen to us. We can just start.
I don't think you want to listen to
podcasting
Chanel's voice when you go to sleep. Like, you won't be able to sleep. So don't do that.
because it's so exciting.
Yes, that's what I meant.
I was gonna offer ASMR for an episode. So
no, please no. Mm-mm.
Let's do an ASMR episode.
Let's
please.
not. Let's never do
I'm
that.
begging you. If you want us to be a sleep time podcast, we have to do sleepy time sound.
Mm-mm.
Just try it with me for 1 second. Just whisper.
Mm-mm.
I won't do the outro until you.
No, and only do it on Spotify.
ASMR. Do it ASMR style.
Only do it on Spotify.
You tried, so you almost did it. You tried to whisper and you stopped yourself.
No, I didn't. No, I did not. Outro.
You saying black men don't whisper?
No, we don't.
Okay. Oh, we're gonna have dead air until you whisper something into this mic.
I will cut the podcast off before that happens.
Crazy. You're taking advantage of your power as a producer.
That's right.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. I've been Chanel, your host, with Brandon, your other host, and this has been We Was Sleeping, a podcast that you can play overnight. Just don't play, just don't shuffle, and just let it rock. Put it on 5% sound. And we've had a blast talking to you guys about Fallout. We probably will be back at the very end of the season with a full season breakdown, or a second half breakdown, because I won't be doing 2 shows next week. I just won't be doing it. Love you guys so much. Thanks for listening. Hit us up on our social media. Respond to the poll, comment on Spotify, comment on YouTube, post a 5-star review, send us an email. All those things you do will get your comment read on the podcast. And if you do have production notes for real, you can email them to us and we will consider them. But again, this is just a multimedia show and we don't get paid for this. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been a podcast for Blurs and Baddies, where we talk about sci-fi, video games, and the politics in between all of it. I think I did all the stuff. I think that's it. Okay, guys, if we was watching it, then you should be watching it too.